Ready, go.
Hey guys, thanks for coming tonight. We're here to talk about the ocean's energy. Did you realize we're in the middle of an energy crisis? Right now, fuel prices are skyrocketing, and the amount of CO2 and pollution in the air is at dangerous levels. I'd like to discuss some alternatives to fossil fuels. As you see here, over the last 20 years, the amount of emissions into the ozone is huge. You guys know what emissions are? It's like the smog, it's like the pollution that's in the air. Well, scientists are going around the world trying to think of some great green energy ideas, renewable resources that are environmentally friendly. Well, one of them they've come up with is the ocean's energy. They're trying to figure out whether or not it's the wave of the future. We already work on solar, we work with the wind, and we work with the water, like damming of the rivers, creating energy. But what we want to know is if we can harness the ocean's energy. If we were to harness just 2% of the ocean's energy, we would be able to power the world. Wouldn't that be awesome? You wouldn't have to worry about all those power plants making your skies ugly, huh? Well, one of the ones most people know about is wave energy. Everybody goes out and they see the waves go up and down, don't they? Well, wouldn't it be great to be able to harness that energy? Well, right now, what they can do is use buoys. The buoys would ride the waves as they go up and they'll come down. And they're connected to the ocean's floor, which would have a connection, electrical connection, either to a platform or to shore, and it'd be put into the power grid. It'd be like a power station. Well, the way these work are, as the buoys go up, water's being driven into them, air's coming out the other side, the turbines are spinning, and it hooks to a generator, and it's creating energy. Well, the other way we could do it is to have them underwater. Well, these are like 40 feet underwater, and they're hooked to a piston. It's like a car motor. And the piston goes up and down. It's inside a cylinder. Well, it also creates energy, and then as it's hooked to the ground, it's going to be running power back to the platform or to the shore again. And the great thing about these are they're environmentally friendly. You're able to make energy at a low cost. One of the problems is for like offshore, people aren't going to be able to fish there or crab there, and so not everybody wants to see one of those in their backyard. So we have to work with the environment on that. Well, wave energy is not the only way to gather energy from the ocean's motion. Tidal energy is another way. Tides are coming in, tides are coming out, right? Well, tidal turbines are much like the ones over in Eastern Oregon. You get the wind turbines, but these are much smaller. The wind turbines are like 190 feet around. Well, these ocean tidal turbines are like 45 to 60 feet around. Well, the reason being is it takes a lot more wind to drive a big turbine, so they need to be huge. Well, an ocean turbine that takes less dense energy because the water is 850% more dense than the wind. So it's pushing that turbine all the time, and it's just not going as fast, but it's still driving that thing crazy. Well, the other thing we could do is called tidal barrages or tidal dams. We could put a dam over a river or a bay, and as the tide comes in, it's creating energy. It's like having a dam, so it dams the water in. Well, then the water goes out, tide goes out. It knows it, so the water comes back through the tidal turbine or tidal barrage and goes. One of the problems we have with that, though, is you need to have a 16-foot gap between high tide and low tide. Not everywhere in the world has that. Right now, scientists have only figured out 40 places in the world that can do this. 3 of them are Russia, Canada, and 1 in France. Well, they say we can do this in the Northwest. We can do it up in northwestern Oregon. Problem is, if we put a dam over the river, how are the boats going to get out? They're not. And that's where a lot of people are upset with it. So we'd have to work on that one. Well, the first two depend on the ocean's motion. The third one depends on its temperature. If we have areas that have a 40-degree gap between the high and low tide, we can turn it into energy. Whether it's just taking the cool water and run it through a plant and cooling it down, or just turn it into flat energy. There's a place in Hawaii that's doing it, but they're not doing it commercially yet, so we got some more work to do on that. So my question is, do you guys think the ocean's energy is a good alternative to fossil fuels? Should we replace coal stuff with that? You don't think we should replace the coal? Well, I think we should, because I think long term we need to, for our health and safety, is we need to find alternatives to coal and to oil. Well, ocean's energy is environmentally safe, It is cheap, and it's also good. It's just good for the environment, isn't it? One nice thing about the ocean's energy is it's a true renewable resource. The ocean's moving 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Even the wind's power dies out every once in a while. The sun only comes up for 8 hours a day. The ocean's moving all the time, right? I think it's a great way for our future. What do you guys think?
Mhm.
Thanks for coming tonight, guys.
Mhm.